Okay. The time now is uh the time now is 11:30 11:38 p.m. and the date is 28th of May 2026. Top line resolution. Monica. When a node in the UK declares its MMUCO M for Mike, M for Mike, E for Umbrella, C for Charlie, O for Oscar, Orion OS, and a node declares the same constellation name, how does drift through resolve a stellar alignment to produce distinct uh, stop line coordinates? Now, the first question is how does the drift theorem resolve stellar alignment to produce stop line alignment? So this question means that if there is two Miko OSs and like say just telling time, time from drift. We all share a reference to Orion OS. Orion OS means Orion's belt OS. Andromeda, Andromeda Orion OS is just one constellation. How does MUCO OS drift theorem? The drift theorem is defined as uh, uh, um, um, one second. Let me find how the drift theorem is defined mathematically. The drift theorem is defined mathematically as drift theorem is a theorem that means something that um, two things moving away from each other, like things that have a natural way to drift away. You got angular movement, and you have um, uh, towards away, angular towards away, and you have a drift of 3 dimension. Drift theorem is literally the launch is defined uh, as I can't remember how to say it. Drift theorem. Let me just find it. Drift theorem. OB nexus. Uh, um, dt equals frac dv t when measures of sparse removal of version of the edge over time. So basically, the drift theorem is of observed object relative to an observer, and is defined as a time derivative of a relative observer vector. D derivative of time, where is dv t dt derivative of t, where dt represents the drift vector, and how the spatial or object change over time. So the drift theorem is in a spatial observational system, the motion of a tracked object relative to observer can be completely calculated by the time derivative of the relative observer vector observation vector, producing radial and angular drift component that describes separation, approach, and lateral displacement or dependent displacement within the observed frame. So the lateral displacement is the dependency. It's not unilateral. It's a dependency between displacement. And displacement is relative based on geography, geological, geolocation, or the geography of the MUCO OSs. So they can know the time, basically MUCO OS, Orion, and the same time, because they're not in the same location, but they are called MUCO OSs, they share the same security and welfare concept of survival. So, what does this mean? And so, how does so the drift theorem is constellation that encodes latitude, longitude via stellar parallax. Does it basically there's no stop line explicitly, it's just a lateral displacement that it takes how you can know the time of day based on what MUCO Orion OS you are at. Because they observe the drift of Orion's belt, if it's MUCO Orion, or Andromeda's belt, or Diamond Galaxy, if your MUCO is aligned to a galaxy or pointing. Think of MUCO as a a satellite that orbits, that takes measurement of the sky in real time, and that's how you know the shared epoch, the shared change that you know. But the lateral spin on shared change, shared passage of time, or shared epoch. Does the constellation name encode lattice longitude over stellar parallax on the drift relative offset Kuiper shared rebel? What's the canonical reference for Orion OS? Star. The star is the moon and the earth, and that's Orion's OS, the moon and the earth. How do you prevent naming of two compounds claiming to the same belt? How do you prevent namespace collision when two compounds claiming the same belt? Two compounds, because they have a latitude and a longitude, and they have an altitude. So those are three purposes: latitude, longitude, and altitude. Those should give you no collision whatsoever, and that will dictate where we are in space time geographically. In your trident topology, Shadula observed Channel 1 the first with Cicero Tray, the two clubs. When term closes and UK compound loses physical connection to Nigeria, which channel holds the constitutional authority? Channel 2 is Nigeria, UK knows enter. This question is into channel 1. I want to get rid of this thing, but I'm not really happy with the kind of implementation I've gone so far because I'm not really clear on what I want to do. So you're gonna have channel 0, which is transmitter, channel 2 receiver, channel 3 verifier. It's the SIGI protocol, but it's not a broken system. So it's something that detects uh 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 you know at one point there's a distributed compound defend impotence saver trying to this question I'm not ready for. You know Identity aware provenance. Am I saying you say I am from MUCO Orion in OS in Nigeria, and later say I'm from MUCO Orion in OS in US? Orion is design and it's a security and welfare and design and constitution. In the Drusen motto is to identify bound or the compound. Yes, So this is what I'm saying. The constellation represents the location. Basically, you look at the star to tell where we are from. It's ontology. It's ontological. And the beauty of it is that because it's ontological, you can know where you are based on a reference, and that is the map. We should try to map out the best place to build, so everyone can have a house. How can listen bro a single node from occurring? Z- Zooping the I like this question. Zooping the region in geography. Display memory. Your memory location uses zooping. Uh 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 Zoop OB Nexus zooping. Zooping is a word in let me just try to find the GitHub zooping page. So I'm gonna stop this recording now because it's gonna get too long. But I don't have time for it. So it is what it is. So there's a lot more questions to answer. I'll get back to that later. But I've answered the core philosophy. It's a constellation aligned operating system. And that's how, things are. The naming convention is literally for humans, but it's ontological humans, designed for computers, but for humans to just read it out. So you can say MUCO constellation. So basically, the schema is this: MUCO OS just one operating system. MUCO constitutional constellation. MUCO constellation. Okay, you're gonna operating system name, such as MUCO OS, and then followed by constellation alignment name, and then the O and the end is OS for operating system, and that is MUCO OS. Thank you for watching this video, guys. Or listening to this old script.